Hey, good.
How is the walk?
Yeah, we all got soaking wet and toweled off.
No! Is it raining? It's actually raining over here too.
Yeah, I'm in the Bay Area. I don't know about you.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Quite nice indeed. Also, do you prefer 60 FPS or 1080p?
I haven't a clue.
Okay,
What does
we'll
that
just
relate?
go with 1080p then. That's what most
Okay.
people prefer. It's just for screen sharing
Oh,
purposes
for the
as
screen
we
share, you're gonna screen share in this call. Gotcha.
right. So I turned it on Discord. Let me know if you can see it.
I can see it.
Nice. So, tell me about your league experience, I guess. Let's start with that.
And sure. Started playing League again a couple months back. Hadn't played in I don't know 3.5 years or 4 years or
Oh,
something.
damn.
Used to be a mid player. Said, okay, when I come back, learn some ADC. That'll be fun. Didn't really understand any of the intricacies or how you even decide like matchups or whatever. Saw some of your videos, liked some of your videos in terms of like how you break down how the support dictates a lot of the lane. And so I've started to learn like freezing and this, that, and the other. And so, anyway, I'm at a point where, um, like low silver on one account, high bronze on the other. Trying to play with random supports is hard.
Uh-huh.
I've noticed one theme in my play is that like a lot of my supports roam away from me, and then I don't play safe enough when they do that.
That's a
So
classic.
yeah, I'm trying to maintain discipline of staying safe from like skill shots in the laning phase. Trying to tighten up my CS a little bit. I'm in like the low 60s at 10 minutes, basically in most games on average. So
That's not too bad. I mean, looking at some of these, this looks pretty good, right? 8 CS a minute. Not bad at all, to be
yeah, I
honest.
get a little bit better. One of the things I want to ask you about is making a decision in the mid game phase on when to take jungle camps, right? Versus
Mm-hmm.
just like following the idiots around the map that can't decide what to do.
Yeah. Well, our usually our default setting is just make money, right? Unless something is going on that requires your attention. So, you
Yeah,
know,
but then if you're a second too late sometimes in helping, then it can all go sideways. But to be fair, usually it takes two or three of those types of fights until the game is truly out of hand.
Well,
Um,
I'm sure we'll see some of those ideas. So,
well,
ideas of maybe Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
let me put a couple more things on the table, right?
Okay.
I want to understand your approach to like, do you use the player only attack move click? Like, do you hold down a button to make sure that you're only attacking the champions in
Only if
certain
they're like under tower
situations?
and I don't want to click on the tower. So, but not
Okay.
really.
All
Like,
right, because I haven't found. Okay. All right, sounds good. I think in my laning phase, I can improve when I use my ult. I think there's probably a kill a game that I maybe missed that I could if I like timed up my ult better in the laning phase when I trade. I think I
right.
definitely need to trade better. A lot of my trading with Jinx is only with rockets. Um, because it just seems too risky unless we're truly like going for a full fight to be in minigun mode
Right,
um,
right.
at trade because she's got low range. I had another thing, and I can come back to these. I wrote a few of these down. Sometimes I'll drop a vision ward, say in the tri brush for bot, right?
Right.
Um, and then it never gets wiped out. And now we're at the like 20-22 minute mark. Bot tower's down. I've bought another vision ward. Now I'm wondering, like, should I delete my tri-brush vision ward to place a deeper control ward? At that mid-game phase when we're all centered around the middle more.
Right. If you guys are, let's say, for example, Baron, like here's an extreme example, right? Let's say Baron is up and no one's going bot anymore for whatever reason, and now you guys need control over Baron. It would make sense to move your control word there, right? So it
Yeah.
could be more useful. Basically, so maybe our rule would be what's more useful, like the ward in the tri-bush versus the ward over near mid, like you said, right? And if
Yeah.
you think that the ward bot is still providing value, like, oh, it's helping your top laner who's splitting or something like that, you wouldn't necessarily have to move it, right? But let's say it's not doing anything. Let's say you're like, this is useless. You may as well not have had that word there. Like you may as well not have a word on the map. So you should put yours down, right? That if that makes any sense, right? You should move it towards what you guys are trying to do. So
Yeah.
you know, what was the original reason we put down that pink? Oh, so we can have control over bot lane, right? Or maybe, you know, we can defend against ganks or maybe promote our own ganks. But if we don't have a reason for it later in the game, there's no problem with moving it, I would say.
Sure, I shouldn't worry about the lost 50 gold or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's not really that's not that relevant.
All
to be
right.
honest.
So if I feel like dropping a new one is going to give much better vision that would help us in a team fight or protect our flank, then that definitely supersedes the previous one.
Oh yeah, for sure, right? The whole like income part of the wards, unless you're like spending like 500 to 1,000 gold on wards in the mid game, it's really not a problem, right? It's usually people are not spending enough money on wards. So
yeah, I'm trying to buy it. So that's another thing. Sometimes I buy it, I go back, we get into a team fight, I die. I've got 500 gold. I want to buy a long sword, and the only slot I have open has the control ward in it. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know whether to like buy that extra item that's not like a major item. It's a small item. Like maybe the attack speed for 300 or something, or leave the ward in my inventory and get back out there. That's another decision point that's hard.
All right, so it's a similar idea to moving a ward, right? What do you think is worth more, right? Is the ward more likely to win you the game or the longsword, right? And again, you can use like an extreme example where, hey, I can finish an Infinity Edge or buy a control ward, or like, oh shit, I think the Infinity Edge will win you a fight, right? More likely than the control ward versus, hey, I can buy a health potion versus a control ward. You're like, wait a minute, this health potion doesn't really do anything, let me buy the ward, right? And then you go from there, like, oh, okay, then how about a longsword? How about a pickaxe? What about a BF sword? And then you'll find out that, depending on who you are as a player / what your experience is with the game, you'll think one way or another, right?
All right,
so
fair enough.
A lot of players like, oh, wards, you're gonna win me the game because they sit on this ward, they get caught, we do Baron, right? Versus some players are like, dude, this BF sword is really important, or maybe this lifesteal is really important. I need this to play the game, right? So
yeah. The first game that we're going to get into today was the first game of the day yesterday. But I did feel pretty good and fresh. One of the things I want to look at in lane is, first of all, I'm curious why you don't play Jinx more, but, how much should I or should I not be thinking about using W for poke in the laning phase? It is somewhat mana intensive. I know skill cap says don't use W for poke. At my elo, I certainly get a lot of value from it. I can hit it pretty often. I know as I get better with the delay, people will sidestep it a lot more than they do now. So let's keep that in mind. And the last thing, I guess, this was fun. Why the hell was she over there? I was like, well, the one time
I've never seen that before.
It's like, the last thing is like, if I have somebody playing like that's gonna try to play like Ashe support, should I probably just dodge, or should I adapt somehow and try to play through it?
Well, I think if it's a question of dodging, it's always a game of will it is like, does it hurt your mental? Like, will it prevent you from working on what you want to work on, right? So let's say, for example, I want to work on my matchups, like the bot lane, right? So if I get someone who's picking like Warwick support, I'm like, okay, my matchup is now, we're going to all in them when Warwick goes in. And their matchup is whatever, poke, right? So if I'm working on my matchups and it doesn't bother me, I'm like, okay, we can do this, right? No problem.
Okay.
But if I'm like, I'm trying to work on my mid game, and if I think this Warwick support is Omega lull and we're never going to get to mid game, I'm like, all right, it's better for my mental to just dodge because I'm not going to be even focused on the game, right? So depends on if you think you can survive the mental attack. You know what I mean? if you keep your mental calm, because if you like go through the game and you're the Warwick support, and then you're like, you get tilted or something, and then you're focusing on this guy picked Warwick. You could have picked literally anything like Alistar, and then all of a sudden you didn't get to work on your laning or team fighting. Then the game didn't have as much value as it could have, right?
Yeah,
And it might
that
even
makes
affect
sense.
your future games. So yeah, really, I think it depends on will it prevent you from working on the things you want to work on. So, or
Um,
if they're like actively trolling, this guy's like, I'm gonna run it down in the champ select, and then you're
well, I
like,
can't
oh,
know that ahead of time, right? That's
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, some people like to say that.
yeah.
Some people are
Like
like,
yesterday, I had this Ash support, right? I'm like, all right, I'm gonna work with it. We'll see what we could do. The slow CC could be effective. When he hits 6, could be good.
uh-huh.
Um, and then it was like he saw 2 CS get missed, and he's like, doesn't know how to play ADC, and just started roaming the whole map.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's just I don't know about that one, sheep. I mean, like, honestly, I would just mute them and deal with it, right? Like, oh, okay, I guess it's 1v2 now. You know.
Yeah, which is what I did. It gets really hard though. Sometimes I think it was like Blitzcrank support on their side. It's like, well, I guess I can't play the game. I'm just gonna sit here under tower.
Yeah, sometimes it'd be like that. That was a
Yeah,
nice follow up, nice route.
yeah,
Very nice,
it
very nice.
was. What we're gonna see here in this first game is no kills or assists in the first like 16 minutes of the game.
Right, right. That's
The lane
interesting.
is pretty even, which is not typical for this. Usually something pops off. So I wonder if we'll see some opportunities to trade better. I'm sure we will. Maybe an opportunity to, I don't know, execute um, or manage the wave better.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you think?
Game.
What's ideal wave management here?
Well, I mean, obviously they're in a better spot. It's on their side. They're much safer. Um, The question is, do I use a little bit more rocket mana to make it, reset? That is one thing I'm trying to get more aware of is what it's truly going to take to get a full reset uh, with the waves.
Well,
So,
this is pretty much reset, right? So,
yeah,
so reset
a little
is
bit. I mean, I got it basically the length of like 5 minions closer to the middle, which is
right.
better. So
So,
here then,
mhm.
do I like not hit and should I focus on not hitting anything? Here I'm rocketing the back line and I'm trying to shove them again.
Right. Well, what's the idea behind shoving?
The idea behind shoving is basically it's going to pressure them and make it slightly harder for them to CS.
I agree. So you get some kind of CS advantage, right?
Yeah.
So what happens if you're pushing and then they're farming under tower? They lose some minions under tower, and we get every single CS. So you would be winning in that outcome, right?
Yeah.
So the whole idea is CS advantage. So if we're pushing and we're missing CS, does that go with or against what we're trying to do?
Yeah, it goes against what we're trying to do.
Right, right, right.
And if it's like the pushing is gonna get like 4 of the 6 on average, and we're hoping that they only get 2.5, 3 on average as it's like coming into their tower. Maybe that's not worth pushing.
Well,
I
it's
don't
it's good
know.
to it's good to push, but
If you're only okay,
the focus would be how hard do you have to push to make sure it's hard for them to farm, right? If you're like, oh, we'll push, and then make sure you get all your CS, versus push as fast as you can, but you're gonna miss some, right? So,
yeah,
do you have ideas of, oh, pushing is good because we're pressuring them, right? Versus, so for your question of should I be rocketing this backline, it's, you know, can I pressure them on their tower? Like, what are you trying to do essentially? Right. Some people are like, I'm trying to draw the jungle bot so we can relieve our team of jungle pressure, or we're trying to poke them on their tower because we have Lux, right? So, are you doing what you think is good, essentially, right? And if you think you're like, oh, we're making them lose CS on your tower, then that is good, right? Just make sure that you're also not losing CS, because then that would almost defeat the purpose, right? Because that happens quite often with a lot of players where they're like, oh shit, I gotta push, and then somehow they lose minions as they push. That used to be me back in the day. I was like,
yeah.
hey,
I mean,
pushing is
but
good, but
frankly, it's not like if I don't push, I'm gonna hit all the minions perfectly while like positioning against them, right? I suppose I feel like this, like if if I was a bot game or something, I might
Mm-hmm.
get like 90-95% of the CS, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, if I'm like in the middle of the lane trading, but I'm not pushing in any way, I don't know. We'll just say like I feel like maybe 75-80%, right? And
Right.
if I'm pushing, I'm getting like 65-70. So I don't feel like if I wasn't pushing, I would be getting a whole lot more CS. But maybe that just highlights, an area for improvement.
That's just a what I'm gonna say to that, right? We just practice tool it up. 10 minutes a day is what I used to do until it was really clean. So the rule of thumb was there's 114 CS at 10 minutes and 30 seconds.
Did you see
So
that W right there, by the way?
this one,
Yeah, right here. It's
right?
like, so is that worth it? I mean,
Yeah. What do
okay,
you
I
think?
got a result. Okay, it's like 180 off of Zyra's health, but I don't know if I should be saving my mana so that I can. I do find certain situations where I'm like, shit, I'm too low mana to fully execute here, or
Oh, nice traps. If you're let me let you in on a secret. If you're out of mana on Jinx and you haven't used Zap 20 times, it's because you're using your rockets. So
yeah.
usually mana problems come from using rockets when you don't need to be, right? Also, that was a nice getaway from the gank. Very nice traps. So
Thank you. I've definitely noticed that's a huge difference on whether gonna have successful games or not is being ready to make good traps, whether it's like an execute or mostly an escape.
right. They're gonna run over the traps trying to get to you, or enemy team can't get away, right? Those are the two most insane uses of trap. So
Although
oh,
I
oh
gotta
they're
say
here.
it's very annoying. A lot of champions can go over them pretty easily. I don't think it's fair to Tristana that she can't jump over, but like Jax and everybody else is just hop right over them.
Oh, they can't go over traps anymore, right? It'll
Oh no, they do.
really? It's gonna. I thought it would
Yeah,
root them in
like
place.
Jax could jump over, Kha'Zix could jump over. Just almost everybody can can get over them. Maybe that's a bug. I don't know, but
Why are you saying there's like a trap here and
yeah,
they jump over it and they still keep going?
yeah, and it doesn't do anything.
I think that was changed. I don't know if I was somewhat recently, but I could be
It
wrong,
happens
but
to me all the time.
I see. I'm
But
sure
okay,
we may or may not see some examples of that.
I don't
Are you
think
talking
it
about
happens
like?
to me in these games.
Are you talking about like before they activate or after they
Well,
activate?
that's what you would think, but no. And maybe in the heat of the moment, some of those situations, it's before they've activated. But I've seen it happen enough that I feel pretty sure that quite a few champions can jump over them. Like
Interesting,
Tristana gets
interesting.
caught every time, but like Jax, I've fought against
I came here
plenty
for
of
two things:
I'm fed
to
on my
suck some
team,
hard
Jax is
candy
fed on the other
and suck
team,
some dicks.
and he gives zero fucks.
I just does Jax things, huh?
Yeah.
Seems good. Seems good. Just seeing some fighting here. That was a nice zap. Nice try on the ulti. I mean, so far it's pretty. It's like you said. It's pretty much no, not too much action going down here for the first 15 minutes of the game. So
Yeah.
nothing too crazy going on here.
I
Do you think?
figured I figured with CS patterns, yes, practicing helps, but also there's certain patterns of more efficient ways to do it or not. I don't know what Zyra was doing there.
You got
Uh,
wrecked.
yeah. But so I was thinking maybe I just need to find, better. I found this website, League of Graphs or something, and then they've got replays. So I guess I could find some of the better Jinx players in NA and just kind of watch how they pattern their CS,
Nice
rather
try
than
on the
trying to
ulti.
reinvent the wheel.
It really
Yep.
is just you just. And so one of the reasons why some people might be missing CS is that let's say a minion is low and you're busy
Yeah.
like walking around and then when it gets low, you start walking to it. So maybe by the time you walk to it, or you fire something, or you auto attack it, it already died, right? Or you might do it too early. So one tip you can do is, if you're not being pressured, you just stand still, and then just hover your mouse over it, and then right click it, right? When you're not in any danger.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I would say the biggest reasons that I miss CS are misunderstanding my attack speed at that given moment. So I think I can hit one and then hit the second one before it dies, and I miss the second one. Or like, the minions randomly fucking switch their aggro to the other minions sometimes.
Yeah. That does, like the cannon one especially,
drives
right?
me nuts.
The fucking cannon minion, dude.
It's like you were just attacking him, nothing has changed, but you switched your aggro.
Right. So one trick people use is to not attack minions at all, right? And to wait until the minions do switch aggro, like you said, because that shit happens pretty much every time, right? So what you see a lot of people do is literally not do anything, and then they'll last hit when the minions start doing crazy stuff. So, man, this is they're just giving you guys free kills. Easy. I mean, so far so good from what I'm seeing here, right? No, there haven't been any major throws in terms of people you're killing. Everything is pretty free. You're doing pretty well. This is kind of awkward though.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, let me try this trap right on him when he goes for last hit on my teammate. See if I can get anything done.
We could talk about this part. What do you think here? Any problems or not really?
Well, I don't have. There's no river vision, and then there's Hecarim. Then I missed the zap.
So if Hecarim comes out, is it a problem?
Yeah, it is a problem.
So then, I guess what would we rather have done here?
We would take the time with the shoving wave to ward the river to make sure that we can safely apply this pressure.
That sounds good to me, right? So if you want to talk about like the improvement part of the gameplay, like what can we do? What kind of habits can we make to make our gameplay better? So, from now, like for example, every time their support is dead and only the jungle can come bot, we would win in all these situations. And you said you would rather go ward the river when you push the wave, right? So a habit here you could insert is, we want to go ward the river every time X happens, or we want to check to see if we should ward the river every time X happens. And what's the thing?
I'm sitting on 2 trinkets right there, so there's
right. So what made you not do it? Check it out.
Oh yeah, what made me not do it is just having wide eyes, looking at this weak ADC with no range, with no support there. So a little bit of tunneling.
Right.
Need to focus on looking at the mini map at better intervals consistently.
Right. And it's not that,
as you've said before, the mini map tells us what to do.
Right. And it's not that you shouldn't have this habit, because this is just an instinct, right? It's like, oh, I want to hit this guy. I want to try and zap him. He's trying to play the game without his support. What is he doing? And then it's not that you don't want to think of this. This is good. This is a good opportunity to punish. It's just you want to make sure on top of that, you figure out where the jungle is, go ward, and then you can continue with whatever this is, right? So having this idea is not bad. You just want to add something on top of it, which is our new habit. Maybe every time you want to try and pressure them under tower, make sure you know where the jungle is, right? That could be a habit you could do.
I guess that brings me to a river warding question. If I went into the river to ward there, probably want to, instead of pressuring there, probably want to ward the brush at the bottom of the river, or ward a little bit higher up towards dragon and not worry about it. Yeah,
those are perfectly fine, right?
Well, as long as sometimes I wonder, should I ward a little bit higher in the river? Like, it doesn't always have to defend the brush. If it's higher up in the river, that'll give me even more time seeing them coming, right?
Right. So
I
that's
guess it depends. Like, am I playing against somebody who can sneak into that bush and avoid my ward?
Exactly.
Which Hecarim can't.
Yeah, perfect. Right? That's exactly the thinking. Is ideally we would get the entrance of the river, but some champions can just jump over. So sometimes you need this bush warded, or you need to kill the blast cone, right? So that's the exact way to think about it. Is you would prefer the entrance higher up in the river, but sometimes you have to get closer, right?
Okay.
So And then and then stuff like Bard and Kane. Oh, maybe you have to like somehow get it in here, right? Because they're coming over the wall.
Yeah.
And then other champions, they just run straight down the middle from their lane, right? Run straight down the lane. Hecarim can do that. Maybe Olaf, right? So yeah, it really depends on what jungler you're playing against. So you're absolutely right in that it can depend on who you're playing against, right? So
Yeah.
definitely a good way to think about it. But yeah, just if you think that vision is a problem in lane, then you would say something like, every time this happens, I want my habit to activate. So every time we're pushing and we're afraid of a gank, I want to make sure that I don't die to a gank, right? That's what you want to be. I guess that's something you could think about.
Okay.
For a laning idea, if you think it's a major problem, right? We always want to work on the big stuff first. Ulti that guy. Oh, nice, good shit. Okay,
I didn't get any
push.
assists there though. Sad fact. It's like the best feels good, feels bad feeling. Like the best of times, worst of times when like your support gets a solo kill, and you're like, "Damn, like awesome!" But can I get a piece of that?
Right.
I'm trying to get money here, son.
Do you think you could follow up on this?
Yeah, I could fire a rocket there. You know, there's a binding, right? So, yeah. And I think that's one of the things I mentioned before. I'm trying to find more opportunities to use rockets effectively in lane. I get some good kills, and I get some really good cross map snipes a lot of games, but I think I do miss some different executions.
Right.
And this
And
is maybe the first good example of that.
what do you think? How could we have ultied fast enough? Right. What do you think?
Well, so I see that binding going, it's hit, boom. The second I see it hit, I need to fire.
Let me see if I can show you a good example here. I recently had one of these that was spicy. Here we go. Website is hella slow, surprisingly. Okay, that's not happening. Check this out. It's gonna be pretty much the same situation, right? So, or I want you to tell me what you think.
I wonder if you're playing Caitlyn.
Well, so what happened here?
You clicked R when he was low. I missed it. Was there a Jace orb that went in? Oh, there we go. Yeah.
So what happened here? What do you think?
So you're like, okay, he's gonna fire off a skill shot that if it hits, it's gonna put him low enough to maybe execute. So you're ready for that.
Exactly. And I'm thinking I'm basically playing off my teammate, right? I know what he's going to do, or I know he's likely to do this thing, right?
You make a good point, and I know that. So I'm a big chess player. I play at tournaments and stuff.
Oh,
and
nice.
when I was younger, it was forcing myself to the discipline to actually do the calculation and think through everything ahead. And I know you can't perfectly do that in this game, but definitely I think that's a mental habit that I try to remind myself is like keep trying to think ahead about what's going to happen instead of just playing, right?
Right. Always try and figure out what will happen next, right? I mean, this is a good example, right?
I remember this example too, and this highlights one of the things that's been hard for. I switch between locked and unlocked, like using Y, almost 50-50. But I get in. The reason why is I get into these types of situations too, where I start to like hear where all that shit just happened, and like right around here, the animations from Hecarim, and then the minions come in on the right side. To be honest, my eye just loses focus of like, well, I think I almost for a second thought I was Lux there when the shit went down, right? I think it's the adrenaline and I don't know, but trying to keep proper focus in unlocked camera mode when fights happen. I don't know if you have any tips for that, but yeah, I guess I could hold spacebar, but I've had a really hard time trying to instill that habit.
One thing you can do is there's some strategies people do. So some people, they look at their character instead of the guy they're trying to kill. Right? Or you can do stuff like, because this doesn't take much effort to finish this guy off, right? Or people look at the map while like basically paying attention they're trying to pay attention to what they think is important. So let's say you're trying to kill this guy, but they have like a let's say they have a Lux, right? And she's gonna try and bind you. You'd be looking at the Lux, and you don't care. You don't care about this guy. You dodge the bind, and then you can do whatever you want, right?
So
maybe in this case, it could be the Hecarim or your own character. Make sure your movement is good or something like that, and that way you will keep track of what's going on, right? It won't be like, oh snap, like a lot of things are going on. What do I do, right? Which is what happens a lot of times in fights. And if you practice this over and over again, like if you practice not looking at this guy but looking at yourself, 100 fights in a row. Yeah. You will know exactly where you are at all times after the 100th team fight, right?
Okay, so and that's the other thing you recommend is like having a notepad or something and being like, what are the things I'm going to work on with playing today?
Right, exactly.
I'm going to try to stare at my character or any characters that have like deadly CC.
Right.
And who I'm going after.
Like here's a clean example. So there are 2 habits you can insert for this kind of fight, right? The one is the typical, you need this every time, which is you want to kill this Kai'Sa, right? It takes, well, if you play the game enough, it won't take too much concentration to right click her, right? You either say you win or you don't. So I think you would win here, so you right click her. So who do you look at in this case?
Probably want to look to the left for who's coming out, if there's anybody coming to help.
And
or look at my own character.
Right? And, why would we need to look at our own character here?
Well, I don't know. Like I've seen eye movement stuff where you're supposed to like stare at the center of whatever and not fixate on any one thing to better grasp all of the different things moving. You know what I mean? The abstract eye movement test.
You could do that, but I personally don't do that. Yeah. I think you could lose track.
Yeah. Okay.
No. Like here, right? And you're like, okay, I can look at 3 things at once, right? I mean, I've never tried it, so maybe it could work better.
Like foveal vision, I think is what they call it. Anyway.
Yeah, I think that's definitely an interesting idea, but for me, I'm more concerned about what I think is I try and focus on what's more important, and that side view would be like, oh, I can kill this guy.
Yeah, the tunnel vision is hard. Like, this is a great scenario here where Lux, my support, is just leaving my vision below me, right? And I need to look up. And in these random ass games, sometimes Lux will just decide to walk away, right? And then, like, the heat of the moment and the tunnel here, like, I'm not looking back at the mini map here. Maybe I should give more glances and try to focus on that. Because definitely I do find certain scenarios where I'm going in here. I know I'm getting at least 1 with a good chance of 2. But my supporter, whoever was with me, just totally walked in the opposite direction. And now I'm hung out to dry.
Well, what do you think is the problem then? Do you think if you need your support, do you think they should go first? Or do you think you don't need your support, you can do this alone? Or what do you think?
I think in this scenario, I'm 12 against a 9 and 11, and I've already got like the CC off. I've got the tower. Get excited on Jinx. I don't need the support for these 2.
Right.
Maybe if they hit their skills perfectly, it could be close, right? But no. I guess I was saying more for a general type of situation, like. I think people are going with me, and then they suddenly go in another direction, and I noticed a second or two too late, and now I'm out of position.
Right. So here's some strategies for that. Right. So one is there's always two parts of it. One is during the fight. Let's say this is during. We're already paying attention to the fight, and one is before the fight. So let's say before the fight, we're like, okay, we need our tanks to join in our fight, otherwise this is not going to be good. So you could say, I'm not going to fight until they go first, right? Or I'm not going to fight until I see that they are committed or they're coming in or whatever, right? I mean, you'll notice this happens all the time with your jungler. People are like, my jungler is nearby. I thought he was going to gank. We start a fight. We die, right? So you could say, my jungle has to be here first before I initiate this. You could say that, right? The other one is during the fight, is in the middle of the fight. This is harder, but also sometimes more rewarding, is you'll check to see what your team is doing as you're fighting.
Yeah.
With the whole quick glance thing, you can do that.
I need to add in. I need to add in that, and just
Mhm.
overall more glances at the mini maps.
Right, right. Let's talk about this 2v2 part though, because I think this would be really important. I think for pretty much all stages of the game. So the whole team fighting idea where we're not looking at this guy we're trying to kill. Who should we be looking at?
I guess whether that CC's coming in from Zyra,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, if you're playing Zyra here, what are you gonna do?
gonna lay down the roots.
All right. So if you watch what she's doing here, is this you know were we able to dodge this? I guess were we able to consciously dodge this?
What do you mean? Were we able to dodge this?
Like did you dodge this on purpose?
Oh, well, I kind of circled around. I don't know. Probably a little bit, but more that Zyra just like missed a little bit. She could have placed that
Right,
better.
right. Now I want you to watch Zyra in this example and play like you're playing a team fight, right? How easy is it to flash that if you're watching out for it?
Yeah, it's way easier.
Yeah, you can do it. Easy as hell, right?
Even if she
And
drops the ult and the roots and just the angle. Yeah,
there's no way for you to lose. Now, the only way for you to lose is if you look at this guy,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
that's
That's a
the
good point.
whole tunnel vision part that you talk about is the whole time all you're looking at is Kaisa, and then the whole time all you're looking at is Zyra. So at the beginning of the game, this is not bad at all, right?
And
You
then
need to
forgetting options, right? Like I start to focus on, oh, to get that finish there, I need W to be back up. But actually, I probably had an opportunity to drop the R there and clean
mm,
it.
I think
I don't know.
the
Hecarim
well
blocked,
either really works, right? But it's impossible because Hecarim's here, right?
but I think
So
that goes with the thinking ahead thing in general. When I do, being a lower skilled player, I do find situations where like, oh, I could have used my blade there, right? But I forgot that I had that option available to me. And so like I was limiting my own thinking in the situation.
well,
So,
what do you think is more important? This we try and finish off this guy, or the Hecarim came in without us
well, I
knowing?
didn't see the Hecarim, right? Like maybe there
Hmm.
was a frame that I saw him there, but at this point, I don't know Hecarim's there.
Right, right, right.
It,
So, like for like future things to work on, what would you rather work on? Is the idea? What do you think will make you better faster?
oh, because you're saying like work on one thing at a time.
Oh, it's just like we pinpoint the
Well,
top things we think are most
sure,
impactful for our game, and
sure.
then
I
we
think the
pick one.
focus of where to place my vision, especially for playing ADC, is more important. If I was playing maybe top or mid more, you making sure I'm utilizing activatable items properly all the time
Hmm.
might be, more important to focus on because it's a core part of the build.
Right? And if you don't have the vision and you don't know where he is, how are you going to play?
Yeah.
Well, like how are you going to play?
Uh, blindfolded. I
Like I
mean,
mean,
less
like in
effectively.
no, like in this example, like are you gonna play differently if you don't see him, or
Oh, you mean Hecker? You're talking about Hecarim.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Am I
yeah.
going to
Like
play differently
Hecarim,
if I don't see him?
yeah, like
Yeah,
Hecarim.
like
Let's say we
if
got
I
our vision
saw
down.
Hecarim, then I think ideally I would kind of do that minimap glance. Like, is Lux with me or is she not with me?
Hmm.
Right? If we had some deep ward over there by blue or something, and I saw Hecarim, then I might not chase. I might have popped that W off, and it was like, well, if I get her, if I get Zyra, I get her. If I don't, then I'm just backing back down lane.
Wait, so okay, so let's say we see him top.
So like play it. Like let's say we got a warded. Oh, okay, top. Sure. If I see
So
him
then
top, then I'm
we're
gonna keep following the way I did.
yeah, we're gonna fight it, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you don't see him. So where could he? What's the worst case scenario for you?
I mean, basically, what happens? I get a 1-for-1 trade. I don't quite get the kill on Zyra, and then I die.
Well, like where is he? Where is he sitting right now? I guess
I guess he could be in that tri brush just
this
out of
one.
vision,
Yeah, 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 right
right? And
here.
then he ults right in and knocks me away, and then they turn back on me.
Right. So if we watch this clip here, and if you pretend he's here, what happens in this example?
If he suddenly charges out right now, it's slim. I might be able to get Kaisa, but I might very well get knocked into the wall, get Zyra CC'd on top of that, and after the chain CC get blown up.
Right. It's kind of, I would agree, it's kind of doomed, right? So it's
Yeah.
the you have good ideas of we should get vision on him, but if you don't have vision on him, you might be wanting to change the way you play, right? Because
Yeah.
you should well, we should assume he's here because of course he's gonna be here, right? If you haven't seen him in forever, he's on the way, or or he's worst case scenario coming down here, right? I mean, this is pretty classic in the sense that the jungle is always bot if
Yeah.
you don't know where they are. So, um,
I think I actually did. I flash there to try to secure the kill too.
oh yeah, you did,
I
you did.
flashed
You flashed
into
it.
no vision tri brush.
Right. So it's just it's very much a I don't really think there are any mechanical problems that you're having. I think that so far if there were any holes in your gameplay, it was he ganked twice, right?
Yeah.
Like 2v2, you just no problems. And then he showed up twice and you're like, wait a minute, this Hecarim got something bought twice, right? So
Yeah.
maybe that's something you might want to look at in terms of what you think, in terms of what you want to work on.
Okay.
Yeah, but for laning specifically, you're talking about the zaps. Are these worth? I mean, it seems like they hit. It didn't seem like a major problem, right? It didn't lose you the game, so to speak. It was pretty good. And then like the CSing, right? Same thing. You might miss some, but it's not the end of the world. But then when you die to Hecarim, to me that seems like a huge problem in the sense that if it happens consistently in other games, that could be a reason why you might be losing games. Is the enemy jungle is getting ahead, and then he runs around, kills other lanes. That happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
So that might be something you want to look at.
Okay.
So let's take a look at this though. I saw this real quick. Or we were watching this as I was talking. Sorry, but what do you think about that? Does that kind of make sense?
I thought I had an easy one-on-one against Zoe there. I completely underestimated the damage from that. I don't know what the name of that skill shot is or whatever, but what the slingshot
her bubble
she does.
Or her Q.
Yeah, she queued me for like I don't
a
know
million damage.
Yeah, look at that.
Seems good. Well, now you know, right? That's just if you didn't know, don't worry about it. Now you know, right? I would not worry about that at all. If it's a learning moment, yeah. If she puts you to sleep and then hits you with an ability, you're gonna have a bad time.
I don't even think she put me to sleep there.
She got you with a bubble, right? So
I don't. Well,
check it out. She ultied in and then she landed the E. Right? So
what did it? Oh, okay.
doubles her
damage.
doubles her
there
damage
for a second. Yeah. Okay. Oh, is it like a combo of damage?
Yeah. It's a combo. It doubles the next damage dealt.
Oh, it doubles the next damage dealt?
Yeah, pretty much, and it's like true damage too. So it's pretty disgusting.
Okay, that makes more sense.
If it's like something that kills you, just check out like the skills or the abilities or whatever. That usually helped me when I was starting out. I was like, oh shit, what is this? And then I looked it up.
It's not always obvious how they synergize though. Like you just read the tooltips. It's not always like, oh, that means you would combo this way.
Yeah. That's just you see it enough times, and then if you die to it like 5 times, you'll be like, oh, that's what it is, right? That's basically how I do it. You have to see it enough times for you to be like, oh, that's a thing, right? So this team fight was good. Oh wow, that was the end of the game. What the hell? All right, interesting. So it seems like in that game, the only big issue was this Hecarim showed up and then we died somehow, or our teammate died somehow, right?
Yeah. In terms of build path, I recently made a small switch that seems to have had like a huge power spike. So
yeah,
for a while I was messing around with like Blade of the Ruined King so I could duel better. But overall, I've found that that's just way weaker, and it costs basically the same as IE.
Yeah,
So I don't like that build anymore.
Right.
So IE, it makes sense to do Randuin's too, and you get more crit. It makes the rockets for team fighting amazing, right? So IE Runans, I guess, not Randuin's, Runans. But anyway, right after that, I found this to be the case even before the Essence Reaver buff. But there's this website, lolmath, made by the inverted composer guy who came
Right.
up with the proxy singed back in the day.
Right.
Anyway, on there was a suggestion for Essence Reaver, even though I don't see it in anybody's build. So anyway, if you get the 20% crit item as the first item, it only costs 80%. And so you've got IE and Runons, and then you buy that extra crit, and now you're at 70% crit. And now, like, you win every team fight with rockets, like, so
Yeah.
easy. Like, before I was going into maybe Blade as the third item, and then I'm only at like 60% crit. I don't know. That has made a huge, huge difference.
Yeah. Crit is quite good. Getting the crit cloak is not necessarily a bad option, even if you're not building it into anything. So.
But then I just get Essence Reaver, which is
Uh,
which is cool. But could also just double up on the IEs, which I've done to good success as well.
Probably not the worst either, right? Really, I think
Because
it
there's
really
no,
depends on what you think is worth your money in terms of itemization. So
yeah,
I think a lot of Jinx players will say they would rather have the move speed slash attack speed from a second Zeal item, right? Um, but 800 gold for a crit cloak is not bad at all, right? Crit scales even better with more crit. Well, it's like not linear. I forget what the math is, but it's like like multiplicatively, I think.
uh huh.
So not exponential, but it's still really good. So not a bad idea at all to go for more crit earlier after your two items, right?
Yeah. I think this is a solid game. The first game warm ups out of the way. It's
Mm.
spicy. I haven't played against a Trundle in a while.
I mean,
Uh,
this is looking pretty clean, and I think out of all the kind of situations I've seen this game, last game, I mean, every time it's been pretty good, except when the enemy jungle shows up. I mean, but in this game, it seems like Chundo shows up, we have no problems, right?
yeah,
So maybe it's just a habit of making sure there are no problems if he shows up, right? So maybe coming up with habits to make sure that if the enemy jungle shows up, we're okay, right? Something like that. Also, I hope you kill this guy. Nice. Good, good, good.
that and at the time I'm like, oh, should I have run away from those guys? And I think yes, I should. The greedy part of
Well,
me was
let's back it
like,
up.
oh, maybe I could have gotten more there. I think
What
the
do you think?
rocket was good. It wasn't a full execute, but it definitely changed this fight. Like, it's a good amount of damage,
Uh huh.
right? Could be
Uh-huh.
more if I waited. But then I think I misprioritized targeting Tarek when I walked into the battle, and Trundle's like, I'm going to get you. I think the kiting was pretty good, but then the second that Trundle dies, I wonder if, yeah, I don't know. Probably no, there's not really anything to turn on there. There's too many minions, and they're both half health.
All right. It's not
Tarek's pretty
clear,
tanky.
so I think it's
Yeah,
fine to back off, right? No problems. So it looks not bad, right? In the sense that, like you said, sure things could have been better, but overall, we play this generally correctly, and that's what we're really looking for, right? Um,
maybe that
so
W was, if I
yeah.
tightened it up a little bit, I should have come in with a rocket or switched to minigun rather than W there, but no reason to nitpick too
Right.
much.
No, no, yeah, exactly. There's bigger fish to fry, right? The
Yeah,
things that will lose you the game, that's kind of what you want to focus on. All right.
yeah.
Let's keep going though. All this is fine. So here's an example of like habits we talked about earlier, which is, the same situation as last game, right? You guys are pushing in, you're trying to pressure them on after pushing them. Then the habit we came up with is look at the map.
Yeah.
Right, and that's something you could do every game, every time you push, and that's kind of a habit that will help you make sure that this whole gank problem never happens. And I don't know about you, but my habits include looking at the map after I kill a minion now. So I saw Trundle was mid, but that will tell you,
Oh,
we can do this 2v2, right? There's no problems, right?
I
That'll
like
tell you
that
where Hecarim
suggestion.
is. That'll tell you where, what you need to do in terms of lane ganks, right? No problems, and then you'll know that this is fine because he literally cannot be here because he's mid, right? Easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just a habit in action, I guess. Oh, okay. Interesting misfortune ulti. Sure. And then again, right? Every time you do this, it'd be like pretty much every time you do this thing, you want this habit to work, right? So as you're killing this, you're like, oh, Chundo's coming bot, right? Because we saw something happen mid and Chundo disappeared. So next logical course of action is he's gonna come bot, or yeah, that sounds about right? He's probably gonna clear bot side.
Yeah.
And can we do this if Chundo's here? I guess maybe, right? That's kind of the thinking to help you against jungle ganks. But it seems like, mechanically speaking, and 2v2 and all that stuff, everything's fine, right? You see how we know where he is, like, kind of 20 seconds in advance? Or we know he could maybe be here 20 seconds in advance.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of the idea. And you're like, oh, you're fine. You have flash, you have full HP. Everything's all good, right? Nice try on stopping the misfortune base. Okay. Oh, this is good. Take tower. I mean, 2v2. We haven't really seen any problems at all, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I think more problems come when I'm playing against, Misfortune's oppressive, but mostly supports like Pyke and Blitzcrank. Especially
typical...
when they play well. Like some people, I kicked myself there. I was like way overextended.
Right.
You went about half a lane way. Yeah, right there. I need to. Like, oh, Galio's with me, but now I need to go back.
Alright, so what do you think happened here?
I just mispositioned because I was greedy to hit another rocket or two.
So the part where we were running, but then we turned around, was that the main problem? So here, right?
That's what, yeah. So just keep going back.
Alright, so it would say, okay, if we just leave, we're fine, right?
Yeah.
But didn't Galio die? Isn't that bad?
Yeah. He's dying right now.
Yeah, he's in the middle of his death animation, right?
And then he's in the middle of his death animation. I'm like, well, maybe I could crumble with a rocket or two.
And suck some dicks.
So, we could... I mean, there are a few ideas here. Right? We could just leave. That's one thing we could do differently. Anything else? Is there any way to prevent this from even happening? Like, why is Galio here?
I have traps that I could use.
I think you use traps, right?
We could... how we could prevent this for Galio from dying?
Yeah.
Look, man, when you're on the plane, they say put the mask on yourself first before your child. There's only so much. There's only so much.
Truth. Well, why is Galio here?
Why is Galio here?
What is he doing?
He's grouping with me and move. Oh, do you think he was actually just crossing and he had no intention of like pressuring that tower? Right? I thought he was coming like, hey, we're pressuring the tower now, and I'm like, that's cool with me.
You might actually just be crossing, like you said. But it's kind of what we do also influence our teammates.
Yeah.
Right? So if you are at Rift Herald, if you're running a Rift Herald, maybe Galio's gonna do a stupid thing again, right? But I think it's more likely go take the safe way, right? Or you'll see supports do something like, I'm coming for the relic stacks, and they get caught, right? Because this is not really a good idea, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you think? What's more important here? This part or the part where we should just leave him to die?
Yeah, especially at this elo, the more I'm going to try to carry, I think like pinging people away and moving back because I am one of the carries. Like, look, if you're a leader, you got to lead. That means going first and saying like, "Hey, I'm leaving. Get out of there."
Right.
I think I don't ping my teammates away enough. That's something that I've seen that I could probably do a little bit better. Save a few team deaths. But yeah, I stayed too long. He's probably wants to stay. Like, oh, Jinx is here. I definitely want Jinx to stay alive. Better me, die than Jinx, and then we both die.
Yeah, something like that happens, right?
And then he's mad and he's like, "Fuck this Jinx!" Like, not.
Yeah, somehow they blame you for it, right? So, what do you think? What kind of possessed you to do this?
Again, it was just like I'm feeling great about where I'm at with my items. Like we have good control, and I'm like, my job, I can clear waves better than anybody on my team. So the middle game, I think the more I can come into this lane, shove it, group with the team, shove it,
Uh-huh.
shove it. Like that's the pressure I bring for my team in the mid game if we're not in a team fight. So I'm in this mode of I got some items. We shove this down. Like either A, I'm gonna see the enemy team appear somewhere else on the map, and I'm gonna take this tower, or B, I'm gonna get that back minion wave of casters and then back up, and they're gonna have to come, defend this tower. And that's what
Right.
happens, but I'm just out of position. I underestimate the Trundle CC, and then I greedily go for another hit or two when there's really no need for. I've done my job. I have brought them to this mid tower, 2 or 3 of them, right? So I should be happy with that. Like, boom, okay, here they are. Now they have to go. I should just rotate around with my team. We could go over to the rift. We could go. There's a lot of things to do. Maybe I let them do something. I rotate the bot and shove that a little bit, and then come back mid. 1 or 2 more hits there. Obviously, not doing a whole lot.
Right. So then it becomes so we know what the problem is, and we know what we'd rather do differently. So then what's like a habit we want to insert here? Like, what? Okay, so like, let's say the trigger for you walking back was what? You wanted to hit this guy, right?
Yeah.
You turn around to hit this guy, and we're like, okay, so that's the trigger. You wanted to hit a guy. So you want to insert this habit every time this trigger happens, right? So what's a new habit you could come up with to solve this problem, to prevent this problem, I guess?
I think is it safe? What's the worst case scenario, right?
Yeah, is it safe basically, right? You could just put it like that. And you'll be like, oh, Trundle Pillars,
yeah.
or
in chess we say don't play hope chess. Like, oh, I hope I
Hope
hope he
chess.
doesn't see the good
Holy
move
shit,
here.
yeah. I hope he doesn't see mate in one, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically what's going on, right? Is
Yeah.
they have an obvious move to them. If we hit them, they're gonna do this thing. So make sure you think about this thing before you hit them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
every time you get the urge to hit someone, you could insert this habit here, which is, am I safe?
Yeah.
Right? And then if you say yes or no, then hit them or don't hit them, right? But it's not that you shouldn't look to hit them. This is a good instinct to have, is I want to hit these guys. Now it's just how can we make sure you hit them only when it's good?
Yeah.
And when it's not a good idea, you back off instead of hitting them, right? So you want to, every time you get the urge to hit this guy, you could insert this habit, which is ask yourself, am I safe, right?
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. And the reason why most players get caught by this is because they don't have this extra step in there, so they hit them every time, no matter what. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of players do that, and that's what gets them in trouble. Sometimes it wins, but sometimes it doesn't, right? And how do we make it winning every time? So you wanna insert this habit here to make sure it's good every time. So no disasters happen. I mean, I don't know what's going on anymore, but maybe now they're inting. So
Yeah. Yeah, just continuing to think ahead and just keep thinking and stop just being zoned out. That's I think there's a reason in the military they say stay frosty, right?
yeah.
Keep your focus and don't lose it, right? Because that could get you killed, literally.
Right, and it's very much like building up these habits to the point where literally every time you want to hit this guy, you do this habit, right? Like actually every time, so it becomes ingrained in your gameplay. And that's it's not that we shouldn't autopilot; it's how good is our autopilot.
Yeah.
Right? Someone else's autopilot might be miles. It might be better than your thinking, right? Or something along those lines, right? So how can we improve our autopilot? This is definitely one of the ways, if not the way to do it, right? Just make it better, right? With these habits.
So you made a really good suggestion. Look, just glance at the mini map after you kill a minion.
Right.
I also
That's
like
a good
the
one.
suggestion of focusing on the threat when I'm chasing.
Right, when you're trying to kill someone, really, yeah.
Yeah.
Or in fights in general.
Also, trying to stare at my character maybe too, to not tunnel on somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Here's something dangerous. Check it out. Maybe not as dangerous, to be honest, but this bush could have been spooky, right? This one here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who their mid laner is, but
Teemo
any mid laner there
in the game.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much anyone in general. If you don't see them, they're coming for you, right? So, oh baby, this is a siege. Monka S, anyone? Oh, We almost died there.
I
Okay.
did have a game
Oh, here we go.
yesterday. Oh.
Here's the ARAM part of the game.
And here's where, like, man, when you've got Runans and IE, and especially if your crit is like 70 or above, it's
Here we
just
go, baby. Now he's
if
running
they,
them all over.
yeah, it's stupid good.
Okay. It's kind of awkward shooting into the wind wall, but you know. Oh, okay, very nice. Hog champ, well played. I think the oh no. Okay, well, actually that one before. All right, let's take a look at this part real quick. That's funny because you thought the brand W was theirs, but check it out. This is a common habit, right? So
Switch to rocket right there.
yeah, so
Instead of W.
most players like to kill with abilities because it's cool, right? It looks cool.
Yeah.
But it's gonna miss. There's a chance it misses.
Man, and
right?
I know, having played enough Jinx, if the second I hit Q, the rocket will pop out. And
Yeah,
no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. When in doubt, if you can do something just by auto attacking instead of using abilities, you just auto attack, right?
Oh
so
yeah,
I mean,
that was the early thing I had to learn on Jinx. Like, stop trying to place traps and hit W's in the middle of fights. Just keep minigunning them.
Yeah, exactly, and then it becomes obvious when you need to W or trap them, like when they're trying to run away or something, right? So
yeah.
If there's another, I mean that's honestly not that bad, right? I'm not really concerned about that, to be honest. If there's another thing you want to look at, it's this section here.
Yes, and this is where again my vision starts to blur a little bit, so to speak, for lack of a better description.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to see those wind walls in the midst of everything, but then I did see it, and like I moved forward, and then I did not prioritize. I was like, Yasuo is the only threat here. I need to get on Yasuo. That's what I was thinking.
Okay, let's start with the first thing here, right? So let's say this Yasuo is trying to aim me with the tornado, right? How do we make sure we dodge? How do we dodge abilities?
Man, actually, just a sidestep down would have allowed me to hit
right?
both of those guys with the rocket. It would have made that team fight a lot easier.
Right. So this is actually a mechanical habit. If there's a mechanical idea we'll talk about today, it's this, right? Is during team fights, you know, what do you want to do if these positions are static, right? And everyone can just stand still. Do we want to stand still? What do you think?
Obviously we don't want to stand still. You just said everybody has to. What do you say? I mean, I get the wind wall is a blocker, right? And going in a straight line doesn't work. So the sidestep gives an angle.
Right. And this is kind of the idea of after every auto attack, you want to move no matter what.
Okay.
Right? And there's many reasons for this. One is you can improve the positioning of your character.
So habitually,
right?
usually we move forward or backwards.
Well,
but like think about sidestepping when you're attack moving as well.
Yeah, literally, no matter what. You're right. That kiting and chasing are the most common forms of move after you attack. But when in doubt, you know, what if you're not sure, right? You want to go sideways. That way you can naturally dodge or react to anything you see. Also, it makes it harder for them to click on you, right? If someone's standing still, how easy is it to zap them?
Right.
Versus someone who's going sideways. Oh shit! How do I zap this guy? Right? I have no idea which direction he's going. So that's always a good physical habit to have. Is after every auto attack, you want to move. Like actually after every auto attack. Let me show you what I mean. Let me use. I guess this is fine. Any of these clips are fine as an example. All right, check it out. Let's just go to a fight here, and I don't really know what's going on, but you'll see that this is kind of a permanent habit for pretty much any high-low ADC or any ADC in general. You kind of want to be doing this, right? Even when I'm killing red, you see where I'm clicking after I attack.
I gotta be honest, quite a bit pixelated. Are you on 1080p or 720p?
This is 1080p. I'm pretty sure. Let me see.
It looks like 480.
Maybe trolling. Is this better?
No. Well, maybe if you give it no.
Yeah, I guess
it looks like it almost looks like 360.
I guess it's just not happening, huh? I don't know.
It's all good.
Maybe it's this Discord having problems.
Yeah, it's like watching your video on your screen share makes it doubly worse.
Yeah, feels bad.
So the Discord looked like 480 to 720 most of our session, and then when you pull this up on top of your screen share, this is like 360 or 240. At least from my perspective. I don't know I don't know if you're streaming right now, what it looks like to your stream, but
Yeah, just I guess you just can't get around Discord sometimes.
yeah, no worries, no
But
worries.
yeah, check out
The only reason I pointed it out was not to complain, but to say you're like, look at my mouse movements. I'm like, I can't see your mouse movements through all that blur.
let me see. Can you see where our mouse is in this?
Now I can, yeah. Here I can.
How about like so every time I attack, right? I'm gonna
Yeah,
try and click sideways or backwards or forwards or somewhere, right?
yeah,
That's kind of the idea is we were never really standing still, right?
yeah,
Otherwise, it's gonna be easy for them to land abilities, or we won't be close enough when we should be, or something like that, right? So check it out. If we're just standing in the middle, he's gonna land this. They're gonna land this no matter what. I actually don't know how Aatrox missed that, but uh, they just throw their abilities at us, and it's easy to land, or easier to land, I should say,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And standing still is like it can be good, right? If you're trying to debate something, you can stand still to debate their abilities. But usually speaking, you want to make this a permanent habit when in doubt, right? I think you
yeah.
have been doing it for the most part. It was just the windmill part was kind of awkward. I think like this is really
Those
good,
damn
right?
wind walls, man. Like right
So
there, he just saved their bacon.
yeah, wind wall feels bad.
I wanna respect your time and be appreciative of that. I think this game pretty much is wrapped up at this point. I think I gave you a third link.
Let me see.
Perhaps not. We skip forward and just ask you, do you have any idea about is there anything I could do or is there any better way to build like ultra late game? Probably there's no way to win. I don't know. But I got into a situation where I got heavy ahead carrying. Like
Yeah, 14
I'm
and
like
3.
20. I'm like 20 and 3 or something in this game. Kale gave up after 5 deaths or something, and let's see here.
This part is this far enough or
No, we want to actually skip like more towards the end. That was stupid, by the way. I forgot that the
Dallas one
not
shot?
built because not built all damage, and they don't
Yeah,
usually they build tanky. And
yeah.
then I was like, I just put myself into his CC range, and he actually was able to just blow me up. But if you look at my items right now, right, like
Mm-hmm.
so, I did trade. So I got the full armor pen, right? I
Right.
traded the boots out and got Guardian's Angel. Here's one thought I had is should I not be clearing these waves so that my teammates can get more of this gold and they can get their items?
Right. So
Uh
you want basically, 4 items, which is what you're at, and you also want level 18, right?
yeah. And
And
then
then
and then at that point it still seems like they need me to clear waves though cuz these like super minions uh man, this knot was like and his CC is the
oh,
only reason they had any chance to
he's just on you, does a million
yeah.
damage to you.
Yeah, yeah. So, um, I mean, we played like 15, 20 minutes of me being way more fed than anyone else in the game,
Mm-hmm.
but being in a 4v5 and just like super minions are pushing all lanes. And so
Right.
I just held the siege for a long ass time.
Right.
I got Guardian's Angel and I fought and wiped Jax's Guardian Angel. Uh, here, place traps on him when he comes back up.
So if we're talking about like super laking stuff, these are some good concepts to go over, right? So let's say what's the problem with the game so far? Like what are we struggling with?
We can't do anything but defend the siege of minions.
How come we were losing fights here, like this, for example? Because this guy did it to you like 3 times this game, from what I saw at least, right?
I am not being extra careful to make sure I'm never in dredge
Okay,
distance.
that's definitely part of it, right? And what are there any items we can do to help solve that?
Yeah, so after I lost my guardians, then I went and I got Maw Mormalius or
Yeah,
whatever.
Maw's good, right? But do you see any problems with selling boots though for this extra damage?
Mm, yeah, then it allows him to chase and catch up to me with the CC he needs to lock me down so his team can
Yeah,
win.
yeah, exactly. So itemization is essentially problem solving for whatever you need in the late game, right?
Yeah,
So
but there's also
depending,
the yeah. That's why I wanted to ask you so I don't have to think about it because I can't sit there and stare at the item list. Like my team needs me. You see, these minions don't stop for like 20 minutes. It just never ends.
yeah,
Uh,
if it's 4v5, you don't really worry about too much about winning the game, right? You just care about, what can I do to work on my team fighting, I guess. It's just team fighting practice. But here's some easy tips, right? So if they have armor items, you're gonna need a Last Whisper because you're gonna be hitting these
yeah.
guys, right? If they have sustained damage, life steal is really good, or poke, life steal is really good, right? Because let's say ADC versus ADC, the one with life without life steal is gonna lose after like 5 hits, right?
Yeah, they've
Uh,
got the main threat in this game is their Jax and the CC from their Nautilus.
right, exactly.
Uh, and I've got good attack damage and crit, so I felt like I don't want to get rid of that, right?
hmm But
Uh, so I was struggling, and I need the Runons to clear the waves,
all right.
right? I have the Last Whisper because that also helps with these tanky minions, and then for any armor that they've inevitably gained and built.
Well,
So I
yeah,
didn't really
okay.
know how to. The only option seemed like the Guardian's Angel, and then once I lost that, to go ahead and then get the Maw. Like I didn't have any ideas
Well,
beyond that.
is your maul procking at all? So when
Well,
is maul useful?
it doesn't it stop the first spell that comes in.
That's a Banshee's Veil.
Oh shit, that's what I wanted to build. Okay.
But the Banshee's Veil is an AP item now, so it doesn't really do that anymore. You don't really want that
I
anymore, right?
guess I could have gotten QSS,
Right. You want a
but
QSS?
then
Didn't you?
but then I have to be good with clicking activatable
Well,
items.
that's ADC, right? That's an
Oh
ADC.
shit.
So you're like, oh, if QSS is your lifesteal, this Bloodthirster can be swapped out, right? And if Nautilus hitting you with hooks or Jax getting on you is a problem, you still need boots, right? So you could say like, oh, the GA is not necessary. The Bloodthirster can be swapped out. And if you think that Essence Reaver does more damage than another Zeal item, you can get Essence Reaver, right? But it's basically
I
problem
don't know,
solving for
man.
what you
Keeping
need.
those berserkers boots when I've got like full build in that situation. The
Here's the secret:
QSS has
if
got to be a good replacement for the boots there.
Nah, here's the secret. If you have no boots, you lose the game as ADC. 9 times out of 10. It's no longer. It's not the same back in the day. A few years ago, when you could swap it out for a Trinity or a Zephyr or whatever. Things are too fast for you to do anything in a game, right? I mean, you just look at these examples where Nautilus can walk up to you or Jax can walk up to you. You have zero options,
All right, so
right?
maybe switch the boots to Merc Treads.
Well, what does that solve, right? If you get hit by a
That,
stun, you're dying anyways, or even if you reduce the stun
I
by
guess it's yeah.
25%.
So then, what I want to go speedier boots because the attack speed is not. I mean, okay, it's nice, but maybe like boots of swiftness then.
I mean, if you think
If
you
you're
don't need
saying
attack speed, you can, but I would probably keep the attack speed, right? So I don't know.
so, then I buy the bloodlust elixir. So that basically, I'm just gonna start stacking gold that I can't use. There's no way to
Right.
optimize that build.
Well, there is. You just need to swap out stuff for things to help you with the team fight, right? It's not like there will be an optimal build
I
you're
don't
building towards,
see, yeah,
and
but
once you
look
have
at
enough
it.
money, what?
But look at the actual build right now. I've
Yeah.
got the armor pen. I've got the crit. I've got everything. What would you swap there?
Well, we definitely don't need them all, right? Then we say this doesn't proc unless you take a bunch of magic damage, right?
Uh huh. Okay.
So we can swap them all, right? We can swap the Bloodthirster because QSS or Mercurials is still lifesteal, right?
Oh, okay.
So that's our two items right there. You can get rid of the
Any other
Essence Reaver.
items?
Yeah, the Essence Reaver is probably the next one on the list, right? If you think your core is Infinity Edge Runon's Last Whisper, everything else is not core. If that makes any sense, right?
Okay. I thought the lifesteal's gonna probably be core. But you're saying I can get that off the Mercurial.
right? Because we also have a CC problem, so you know, Bloodthirster is like really nice, but if you can't get away with it, then you're gonna lose, right?
It seems counterintuitive in this position to switch the build into less damage.
Okay, that's a very good point. So let's say you build for maximum damage, but you can't move.
Right,
Versus, you have a little bit less damage,
now.
but you can. Yeah, exactly. We have a little bit less damage, but you can move. You definitely, if you can't move, you can't win the game, right? If you can, like, let's say you ace them, you can't even run to their nexus before they spawn, right? Think about that. Like, you can't do anything. Let's say there's a Baron. Let's say there's an Elder fight, and if your team gets caught, you can't run away to your base in time. They chase you down. It's like, wait a minute, something's wrong, right? And that comes with experience with trying to sell boots. I think it's a good idea to try what you think is good, but also kind of make sure you analyze it afterwards to see if it's good. Because I used to do the same. It's like, oh, can I sell boots here? And I lost like 3 games in a row trying to sell boots late game, and I was like, okay, you can't move. So I think selling boots is not good, right?
Okay, so Mercurials, and then what else? Like, let's say I swapped a Bloodthirster for Mercurials. If I was to swap Essence Reaver, what would it swap for?
Probably a Zeo item if for the attack speed, right, and the extra slipperiness. You'd be like,
so
is the trade-off worth?
Speed.
Right?
So I could do like maybe even Phantom Dancer.
Right,
so even though
Phantom
it's like
Dancer.
a cheaper item, and I'm gonna do less like DPS. I guess it is fair to say that during this time, my team has caught up in experience and items too. So I don't have to feel like I have to do absolute max damage.
Right,
What's clearly
right.
more important than anything is staying alive.
Right, exactly. You're not gonna win by getting a little bit extra damage, but at the cost of being able to play the game, right? But if you do need more damage, and you say something like, they have an assassin, but I can't build a GA because I will not do enough damage to win, then you would need to build that other item and then maybe a GA later, right? Like, that's why for example, we can't just build all magic resist without building any damage items on ADC, because then you're useless, right? So it's like kind of get useful first, which is your core damage items, and then build situational, which is like the Mercurials or the Bloodthirster or whatever, and you pretty much never sell boots. I don't think you can ever sell boots in this currently right now. Like, have you ever played against an Aurelia or like an Akali?
Can I wait to upgrade? So I use the mastery tree to get the like boots at 10, right? The free boots. Yes. That also give you an extra plus 10 movement, which is nice. I really find it way more effective to spend all my gold, like IE, then Runons, and then that extra cloak of agility, and only after all of those items are purchased will I then upgrade to the Berserker boots.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. If you think it's enough move speed, you can just sit on it. In fact, that's what a lot of players do, is they will sit on just the boots from the inspiration tree and then buy everything else first, right? That's really good. So I think that's definitely a viable way to go about it, right? It's very much a how much move speed do I need, and then you can maybe focus on damage, right? Yeah, you that's definitely a really good idea. You'll see a lot of people do that.
Okay.
It's just in this case you don't have any boots, right?
Yeah.
So, like check it out. Like let's say just like from let's just go to like here as an example.
I'm just figuring I'm going to get into a situation where the damage and the lifesteal plus my defensive item is going to make it so that basically there's no way for them to kill me, rather than trying to evade them.
But boots will, I mean, yeah, but boots will help you make sure that they can't kill you, right? So I don't know. Like, check it out. This is a perfect example. Look, you see this Nautilus coming from a mile away, and you start running. This man is 2 times faster than you. Right? Look at he's so fast. He just straight up like judge line ulti combo you into the fit, and it's like, wait a minute, what happened to my GA, right?
Yeah, so, that's a really good point, because then boom, the GA proc just on a stupid Nautilus.
Yeah, it's like that was that's not very good, right? So
yeah.
And then we revived and we can't chase him. He's already out, right? And it's like, luckily our team killed him. But imagine if his whole team followed up. It's just over, right? And that you'll see this happen a lot of times, where if you don't have boots, you get run down when you think you can get away, right? Imagine playing against a Hecarim without boots and you're in the middle of the lane. You can't run anywhere. So
Well, hey man, we have run over our time.
mhm.
I would love to keep talking to you, but I want to respect your time.
Right.
On as you know, and parting, okay.
Mhm.
I think it got great value out of the lesson. We were able to key on some really good stuff. Do you have any suggestion in working with people that are less adept at coach? They're not as good a coach as you or a player, but they are maybe a diamond player. How would you make a read on filtering what's true and not true from players that are better and judgmental? Like there may be a platter diamond player that's like, oh yeah, you should definitely do this or don't do that. Or if I'm gonna start taking advice from better players, but not players that are truly like at the tier you're at, or have the mindfulness of having coach people and not making absolute statements or whatever. Do you have any suggestions on how to work on improvement with other players that aren't coaches?
Oh yeah, you question everything in the sense that they say, "Hey, never upgrade your boots," and you'd be like, "You shouldn't take it for granted." You'd be like, "Okay, why? Like, what's the logical reasoning?" And the one you told me was, you can spend that 800 gold that you would have spent on boots to upgrade your core items faster, right? And that'll be your logical reasoning. And then if they say they have some other reasoning to tell you that doesn't make sense, then you would have to decide for yourself if that's correct or not, right? And it's never really like a always take what they say / do for always winning. It's like no one's perfect, right? So you have to kind of make sure that it makes sense for you. So if I tell you, hey, never sell boots, and then you say, hey, selling boots lets me win these team fights and we win the game off that, then through your own experience you say selling boots is worth, right? But if I tell you, hey, don't sell boots, and you watch these clips where this man runs you down because you don't have boots, you'd be like, oh, maybe boots is not good, right? Maybe selling boots is not good, right? It's very much a make sure it makes sense. It has to be logical, right? Like if someone tells you, hey, pushing is always good even if you don't have flash, and you say, but I got ganked here because I had no flash. What happened, right? And you're like, it's okay, just dying is worth. And you're like, how is dying worth? If you don't understand it, how can you do that, right?
Sure.
So very much kind of be able to logically understand what they're trying to do, and if it doesn't make sense, ask why does it make sense to them, right? And you'll see different answers in that sense.
I'll tell you what doesn't make sense to me. What doesn't make sense to me is why you don't play Jinx.
Well, for me, when I play Jinx, it's usually disasters through some kind of misplay, inexperience, or matchup where some kind of disaster happens. So I have a lot of bad experiences with her.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on overall like smurfing or like boosting? Like for instance, if you play after midnight Pacific Standard on NA, like even at bronze or silver, I know I'm playing against plat diamond players in every single game. And I've sent some tickets into Riot to see like what their thought on it is. And basically there's this idea that like there you get better at the game, you don't have the opportunity to climb like you used to. So there's part of the game experience that is now missing for you when you're a higher league player. So and there's no way to effectively punish people. So it seems like it's just open season for anyone to have as like, but clearly there's tons of ego boosters out there and people that like aren't just playing a different role or whatever. It's like they literally are, whether it's sometimes it's YouTubers. And that's what I said to Riot. It's like you got a YouTuber who's a challenger player playing in bronze, sitting there for 4 hours playing like back to back to back games, just stomping the shit out of bronze. Like, I don't know. Like that does it for the lower rated players. That your rating then is not really a reflection of where your skill is. Because if you're playing at 6 p.m. and you're playing with all the people that are actually bronze 1 or low silver, and you're just like destroying the game, right? And then every time you play after midnight, it's like, negative KDA. It's like, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about that?
If it's like, you have those Smurfs in your games and it's literally every game, yeah, of course your rating is gonna be warped, right? But I don't really think it happens every game. And if it does happen every game, that's your chance to study what they do and literally copy it, right? Because what they're doing is actively working every time, right? So that's like an opportunity to figure out what are they doing, how can I make sure that I learn this and can I use it in my games, So, but yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes when you play at strange hours, it's gonna be a different gameplay experience for sure.
Yeah, you're like, why? Hold on. Why is this bronze one opponent have like 8 straight wins on J4 with like a 7-1 KDA? Like, not cool. Like, get this guy out of my game.
Yeah, I would,
But
I guess, whenever I had a Smurf in my game back in the day when I was lower rated, I would always be like, this is my opportunity to learn or to test myself against, better players, right? And so every time they would do something strange, I'd be like, holy shit, why are they doing that? Can I figure out why they're doing that and use it in my games, right? So
yeah, I guess implicitly I feel like ranked is there to feel like here is where you've progressed to, and your progression, like this is supposed to be some rank of your skill, right? But if everyone else is playing on Smurf accounts all the time, right? Then that overall like defeats. I mean, it's like I don't know. In a pool of bandits, you've got this is how well you do when you don't actually know how good everybody else is.
yeah, so it's just, you know, what can you do about it, right?
Yeah,
This,
I don't know. Like, do you think that they should do any type of like IP locking or anything? Like, does it make sense for this YouTube streamer to have 20 accounts and then like go get views by like beating up on bronze? Like, do you think that Riot should allow that?
I think that boosting in the sense that you do it over and over and over again, every day. I think that could be that is a problem where it impacts so many games, right? But if it's like one dude, how much can like one dude or a group of YouTubers really do out of all the games that are happening, right? So it depends. It's like if they're buying accounts, that's kind of strange, right? But I don't think people have the time to level up like 50 accounts to just like smurf every game, you know what I'm saying? Like I know in my experience when I'm smurfing, my accounts like get so highly rated back to my regular rank that it's like, oh, it's not a smurf anymore, right? And it didn't really impact that many games in a sense.
Oh well, come on, man. Like, what's the max you're gonna get? Like 28 LP when you get a win. So
That's
sure,
that's
like
a
you
lot.
say, you're
Well,
getting there quickly. Still, to climb up to like, I guess you get to skip a rank or whatever. But like, look at the recent match between Tyler One and Yasuo, and I mean, it took them like an entire month
oh yeah, that's
to get
hella.
to
That's
their
actually this
MMR,
season.
and
Yeah.
that's them playing 8 hours a day. That
No,
took
no, no.
them
That's
like
that's not normal. That's this season only. Like this season's really weird in that sense, where your MMR is not climbing fast for some reason. That's a season 9 problem, I think. I think if it was like the other seasons, you would actually climb so fast that it's like insane. So I don't know. I think it is kind of a problem this season, which is why you see a lot of people complaining in high
maybe if you
elo or
have like
anything.
really good games, you should get like a significantly higher LP boost, right?
Oh yeah,
And
like in
like
CS:GO or
somebody that's
something.
like lower than like in somewhere that's in
Rainbow
like my
Six.
range, like you have like a perfect game S plus game, like maybe I should get like 50 LP or something. And then also the people who are boosting or are Smurfs, they quickly that account just climbs out of the range. Like I don't understand, the current way just protects the higher ranks from having to play with shitters, but doesn't protect the beginners from having to play with stompers. I think you get more beginners to play the game and invest in the game more if you say, okay, you had a good game, you rank up fat. I don't know. I guess it's
I
a
mean,
discussion for
I think that
forums or
sounds like a
something.
good idea, right? How do we get people to climb faster? And I think one of the things they're doing with they have like a Smurf detector in the sense that for normal games, if you're like labeled as if you're like detected as a Smurf by the system, they'll put you in normal games with other Smurfs. Not for ranked though. Ranked is like different, right? But they have some of that, at least for the newer player
I
experience.
did see that because I saw King Sticks on a level 16 account, and he was getting owned. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
this guy's like, I don't know, Grandmaster or something, or Master, and like, he's in a level 16 game, and like, all of the other players are like chain CCing him perfectly and everything, like, and he's losing. So that is cool that they put that in there.
Hmm.
Well, again, I said I was going to respect your time. All right, thank you so much. I didn't catch your name, by the way. I'm Jason.
Oh, it's Alan. You can call me Saber, Alan, whatever is good.
All right, Alan,
So
thanks so much for the coaching session today. I hope to do another one in the future.
no problem, no problem. And I'll upload this to YouTube so you can go back and rewatch. So
Cool. Awesome, man. Well, hey, you have a great rest of your day.
all right, you too. Good luck in your games, and let me know how the habit building is going. All right.
Okay, and please try to slip in some Jinx games so I can watch you on Jinx, okay?
Will do. I had one the other day, so I guess you can watch that, but it was kind of
Oh.
sad.
Oh, well,
So
I'll still go back. I'll try to check it out. Is there anybody that I should check out on in any region that's like that you know is like an amazing Jinx player?
yeah, there's oh man, I think a lot of people are switching away from Jinx. This is one guy, I'll trigger, who is always a diehard Jinx player. Let's see. Is he still playing Jinx? He sometimes plays it. You can see if there are any
Oh,
replays
nice.
of him. But I think he's like playing more Lucian. He like gave up on that champ. Yeah, no one really plays this champ. You can try Prototype, but that's an interesting one.
Is that
Um,
because when people are really good, like Jinx doesn't have enough escape,
His
and
champion is
so
kind of useless, so yeah, you can check out this guy if he has any replays. But he has an interesting style in the sense of hyper aggression, so you can check him out, see how he plays. He seems to
NA
be dropping Jinx
Uzi
too.
and LL Trigger.
Yeah, yeah. Uzi spelled with an L. But these guys, you can't watch the replays. I don't know. OPGG, they're not saved or anything. So
League of Graphs, though, I saw has
oh, if League of Graphs has it, then that'll work, right?
yeah. Can you just type those names in Discord?
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Let's see.
Sweet. Well,
I think he
also
does
congrats to you, by the way, on the success of your channel and having coaching being so popular that you now had to raise your rate student demand.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's getting kind of interesting, you know? You used to start out with free coaching, and now we're here, so
Yeah.
hopefully my coaching has gotten better too since back then.
I haven't seen, I've only seen what you've been doing for a month or two, but I think you have a great approach to coaching. And when you said at one point that you're part of like the league affiliate program, I didn't know what that meant at the time, and I thought maybe it was like a special program just for coaches. Seems more like for people that are like league celebrities, but it made sense to me at the time. Like this guy's approach to coaching is really well thought out and balanced, and yeah, man, I'm glad to have the opportunity to work with you today.
Thanks. Thank you for the kind words. Also, thank you for sharing a picture of the dogs. That was quite the mood lifter.
Oh, good. Yeah. Now the rain stops, so we might try to get back out today and enjoy the day.
Actually, rain stopped here too. What the hell?
Are you in the Bay Area?
No, no, no. I'm in San Diego.
Oh,
So
okay. Nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much, man. Have a good
Yep.
one.
No problem. You too. All right.
All right. Bye
Let me know
bye.
how the games are going.
Will do.